It's 6:40 in the morning and the support queue is a wall of unread tickets. The same wall Priya climbs by hand every day before anyone else logs in. Daniel's answer is 11 lines of code, one API call, ticket text in, summary out. He runs it on the first ticket and the summary comes back reading beautifully, right up until it cuts off in the middle of a sentence. Freeze, because this exact moment is where the exam's biggest quarter begins. Your first call came back half a summary, so what happened and which part of the response tells you. By the end of this episode, you'll read that answer straight off the response and you'll know what the model actually does with your text. And you'll know the one thing this API never does. Call it 5 of your 53 questions, and the first segment of the coverage ring starts filling today. Before the call makes sense, watch what the thing on the other end actually does because it's simpler and stranger than people expect. The model writes its answer one small piece at a time, and each piece is picked from the plausible next pieces, one of several given everything so far. That's the whole trick. There is no plan sitting behind it, just next piece, next piece, next piece at incredible speed. Those pieces are called tokens, and they're not words. They're chunks of a few characters each, sometimes a word, often a fragment of one. Tokens are the unit everything is measured in. What you send is counted in them, what comes back is counted in them, and what you pay is counted in them. All of those tokens live inside one workspace called the context window, and here is the part people miss. The window holds more than your input, your request, any tools you've described, and the answer being generated all share the same space. So the window is the model's entire world for this one call. If something isn't in it, it doesn't exist over there. Now the call itself, because its shape is the same in every application you'll ever build. You send a list of messages, each one tagged with a role, and the roles alternate, your turn, the model's turn, your turn. And if you ever send two of your turns in a row, the API quietly folds them into one turn instead of erroring. Each message carries content, which can be plain text or a list of typed blocks, and plain text is just a short way of writing a one-block list. Standing instructions, like summarize in 3 lines and never invent order numbers, don't go in the conversation at all. They write in a separate field called system above the messages, which is exactly where Daniel's summarize instruction belongs. And one field is required on every single call. Max tokens, the most misunderstood dial in the whole API. Max tokens is a ceiling, not a target. The model may stop long before it, but it can never go past it. Which solves Daniel's morning mystery because every response carries a field that says why the model stopped. It's called stop reason, and his says max tokens. The summary didn't fail, it hit the ceiling, he said mid-sentence. A healthy response says and turn the model finished its thought. He says the budget ran out first. The fix is 2 lines. Raise the ceiling and check stop reason on every call, because a truncated answer that nobody notices is worse than an error. While you are reading fields, read one more, because every response also carries a receipt. It's called usage, and it tells you exactly how many tokens came in and how many went out, which is exactly what you'll be billed for. Get in the habit now. Stop reason says whether the answer is whole, usage says what it cost, and both are free to read. The call works, the summary is whole, and that's when Priya asks for something that sounds trivial and isn't. She runs the same ticket twice to check the tool and gets 2 different summaries, same input, same everything, different words. That's not a bug, that's what next piece at a time generation is like. The model samples among plausible continuations, so identical requests can land on different phrasings. And before you reach for the old advice, know that the dial people used to turn for this is called temperature. It never actually promised identical output, and the newest models have removed it entirely. The concept survived, the knob didn't, and the exam knows the difference. So here is the exam asking about Priya's morning, and this one's worth pausing on because it kills 3 options with the tools you already have. A regression test must verify the summarizer's output on every build, same ticket in passing reliably. What should the developer do? Option 1. Set the sampling controls for deterministic output. Option 2. Assert on the structure and required content of the response, not its exact wording. Option 3. Switch to a smaller model for consistency. Option 4. Lower max tokens so there's less room for variation. Rule 1 from episode 1. Find the named constraint, which here is a test that passes reliably. A smaller model is a generic knob that doesn't even address that constraint, so it dies on rule 1. And a shorter ceiling is the exact move that cut Daniel's summary off mid-sentence this morning, so that one dies twice. Option 1 dies on a documented fact. Even at its most conservative setting, output was never guaranteed identical, and current models reject those controls outright. What survives is the option that works with the model's nature instead of against it. Assert on structure and required content because wording is weather. Design for variation instead of forbidding it. That instinct alone is worth a question or two on your 53. Then comes the moment that rewires how you think about this API. Priya reads a summary and replies, "And what about the refund part?" And the model answers as if it has never seen the ticket in its life. Because it hasn't. The API keeps no memory of your last call. None. Every request starts from nothing. There is no session on the other side, no conversation being tracked, nothing to reconnect to. Stateless, flat. So how does every chat you've ever used remember things? You've already seen the answer. It's the messages list. A conversation is you sending turn 1 and its reply and the new question, all of it, every single time. The model's memory is the request you build. You carry the history, you resend it, and the model reads the whole thing fresh each call. Say it the way the exam will test it. The API is stateless, and multi-turn conversation means resending prior turns in every request. And now the context window from earlier stops being trivia because a growing conversation is a growing request, and the window is where it all has to fit. That pressure, what to keep, what to cut, what to summarize, gets 2 entire episodes later in this course. One more tool before the close, because Daniel's summaries are correct, but the format wanders. Instead of describing the format harder, he shows it, one tiny ticket and its perfect summary, placed right in the prompt. Showing beats, describing examples are one of the most reliable ways to steer this model, and they're cheap. The exam guide calls this zero shot, single shot, and multi-shot, which just counts the examples, none, one, or several. The docs mostly say few shot or multi-shot for the same idea, so don't let the vocabulary rattle you on exam day. Here's what the support desk taught you today. The model writes one token at a time inside one window, and that window is its entire world. A call is messages plus system plus a ceiling, and stop, reason, and usage are the receipts you check every time. Same input doesn't mean same output, so design for variation instead of forbidding it. And the API forgets everything, so the memory of a conversation is the request you rebuild. The counter starts at 5 of 53, and tomorrow Priya wants this thing live in the console with tickets that arrive as screenshots.